What is going on out there, peeps? Okay, look, it's definitely getting close to crunch time here. We know that tomorrow on the 10th, the heavy hitters start pulling in for this big meeting with the United States and Iraq. So the official meeting starts on the 11th, but people are arriving and starting talks on the 10th. So we're definitely going to be paying close attention to what is going on over these next couple of days. I know there's a lot of mixed emotions in the Iraqi Dinar community. There's a lot of hope there. So we will be keeping an eye on what is said and what is going on, and we'll see what happens from there. A quick reminder that I have Pimpy's investment group. It's a Facebook group. I will leave a link in the description. You are free to come and join us. We talk about all kinds of things in here, from Iraqi Dinar, the dong, gold, silver, cryptocurrencies. It's free to join. We also have the hidden things in front of your eyes, which is a little bit more on the conspiracy side or current events. The link to both groups is in the description. It is free to join, and we welcome you all. Okay, so real quick here, the Kurdish delegation will go to Baghdad to resume dialogue with the Federation. Okay, so as we know that there's a small handful of things left over to be ironed out between Kurdistan and the Iraqi people, I have no doubt that these things will get ironed out. Al-Kadhimi has been more than impressive since he's been in office, and he seems to be sincere about doing what's right to get Iraq back on his feet, as well as restoring their sovereignty. So we'll see. So negotiations with the federal government will continue as soon as possible, as the delegations of the Kurdistan region will go back to Baghdad to continue talks. The Kurdistan region government is ready to resume negotiations with Baghdad and agree on the outstanding issues. We hope that the scheduled negotiations with Al-Kadhimi's government will result in agreements for both parties. Good, good, good. So Al-Kadhimi's taking a visit over to another city, which happened on Tuesday. So they imposed their curfew, just telling everybody that, look, if you're going to come to the city, it's going to be on lockdown unless you are an ambulance driver and you have some type of exception. But for the most part, they're just making sure that Al-Kadhimi is safe. So we directed a comprehensive curfew, a general abolishment of all exceptions granted to the crisis cells. The governor said in the interview reported, noting that the only exception is for ambulance wheels only. On the other hand, some sources suggest that Prime Minister Al-Kadhimi is expected to arrive in the city tomorrow in order to open the second Freedom Bridge after the completion of the reconstruction process. So the second bridge will be open. This is nice. Okay, good. That's just another avenue in and out of Iraq so they can do business. Finally, the last opportunity before this street blast again. A Shiite parliamentary bloc with Sunni and Kurdish support for Al-Kadhimi's support. Okay, I love how they translate that in English. Okay, so here we go. And we know that a lot of these, we have the Sunnis and the Shiites. Ones are Iranian-backed puppets, so they're kind of grasping for straws right now. A number of Shiite political forces seek to balance the great influence that the Saran bloc, which is sponsored by Sadr movement, Sadr is in parliament by formulating a new parliamentary alliance after the role of Al-Fatah bloc has declined. The leader, Hekma, I guess is how you pronounce him, movement, has been in negotiations for several days with the former Prime Minister Abadi, as well as Shiite deputies from different blocs, to build a parliamentary bloc of 50 seats, balancing the parliamentary weighing in on the Saran bloc, which has a similar number of seats. Okay, so obviously if you build alliances, then you control the parliament's voting, which is not good if there's a lot of Iranian-backed puppets in there. So Hakim is talking to persuade Iraqi parliaments who are far from the direct Iranian influence to gather in a new bloc. So good. He's trying to form a voting bloc that's out of the influence of Iran. That's what Iraq needs, which provides political cover to Prime Minister Al-Kadhimi and adopts new legislation in the House of Representatives, which has been dominated by political conflict recently. Yeah, that's been the whole holdup. This is what I've been saying. When I heard rumor that, Al-Kadhimi and the president Saleh were thinking about dissolving the parliament, I couldn't have been more supportive. You need people that are in there that are there for the sole purpose of the Iraqi people only, and get rid of these Iranian puppets. Okay, so Hakim personally led efforts to support al-Kadhimi in the task of heading the government, considering him the last opportunity available to the ruling political class before the anger of the streets erupted again, and it ends with unforeseeable consequences. Okay, so yeah, we definitely want to get, as usual, I'll leave the link to all these so you could come and read these for yourself. But again, this whole article is about just them weaving out a lot of these Iranian-backed puppets and the need to support al-Kadhimi so that he has a very successful government. Okay, so Abadi is considered one of the most prominent supporters of al-Kadhimi, as he is credited with being named by the intelligence services. When he was prime minister in 2016, Abadi contributed to pressuring the candidates of the bloc, Zarfi, to form a government, to apologize for completing the mission, and give way to al-Kadhimi. The general election held in 2018 did not produce a major Shiite winner, but they created the Al-Fatah and Al-Saran blocs, which each won nearly 50 seats. Okay. As sought to continue to control the representatives of this bloc, controlling their performances, Al-Fatah coalition was close to breaking away during negotiations to select a prime minister to succeed Mahdi. Okay, so yeah, again, this whole thing, I just don't want to read the whole thing, because basically what it's doing is just going back and forth. What we're seeing now is the people who are there, the politicians I'm talking about inside the parliamentary, they're there to, there's a group of them that are there obviously for the Iraqi people. And we also know there's a very big portion of them that are backed by Iran. And so they're going to push Iran's will on the Iraqi people. I don't think that's going to happen. I think you're going to start to see them. We're starting to see a lot of the big hitters in the parliamentary that were Iranian puppets starting to resign now. So this is actually a good sign. We need them out of there. All right. So parliamentary's finance, reducing salaries and activating taxes will not cover the budget. So yesterday I read an article where they're talking about charging 10 to 15% taxes on salaries. Okay. And then, people could start contributing back into the government. It's no secret. I said this a million times. Look, if all they're relying on is the oil revenues, then it's really going to hurt Iraq. They need to start finding other ways to generate money in there. And I said, one of the things is to turn around and change your rate, get it somewhere in that sweet spot between $1.13 and $1.34. Outside investors will start coming in. They'll start producing new jobs. People will get off of entitlement programs. In other words, get off of getting money from the government because they're not working, to going to work to get a paycheck and then paying taxes and paying into the government. So instead of just taking money out of the government, they will be paying money into the government, which is just going to help their economy grow. Okay, so the report amongst the Financial Committee in Parliament said on Tuesday the procedure for reducing salaries and activating taxes will not cover the deficiency in the state's general budget, while providing a solution to supplement the budget with money. We already know what they need to do. Change the dang rate, man. Change the rate. That will be a huge help. All the times we read articles, we know that the quickest, simplest solution would be to change the rate. Yeah, exactly. Safar said in an interview with Marsha that monthly deficit is very large, and as the finance minister announced that it is 5 trillion dinars. Yeah, 5 trillion dinars. Procedures for reducing salaries and activating taxes will not cover the financial deficit and are considered within the formula for increasing revenues and reducing spending. Yeah, we know how to increase revenues, change the rate. All right, so look, they're going in here saying that, taxing is what we want to do, but it isn't going to help at all. Then you look over here and they're going to be passing laws on whether to borrow internally or externally. Everybody knows how I feel about that. It's smart for them to borrow internally, but they have to change the rate. Don't go outside of the country. When you do that, then you're obligated to other country and their influence on your country, and that's not what we want in Iraq. The decision of the Finance Committee indicated the Parliament is in the process of legislating law that allows the government to borrow until the budget is approved, and borrowing will be on terms both internal and external, and the Parliament is aware of the amount of the loan and the lender and the interest rate. And the law was read for the second reading in the Financial Committee. I'm not a huge fan of them borrowing outside, so we'll see. Al-Qadimi and Halabasi's role in Iraq and and American negotiations, the legal experts reveal. So the legal experts, Herb, revealed the legal role of the Prime Minister Al-Qadimi and Speaker of the Parliament Halabasi regarding the Iraq-American dialogue. So all this is saying is, look, each person has a role. There's some things are going to go iron out together. Prime Minister and Council of Ministers, in accordance to Article 78 of the Constitution, which made the Prime Minister directly responsible for the general policy of the state and did not grant this authority to any other party. But I still know that Halabasi has huge influence. As a matter of fact, he has huge influence over the UN, who he's been working closely with our favorite girl over there, Blacksheart. So we'll see where that goes. The cabinet under Article 80 of the Constitution is a tool for implementing the general policies of the state, and negotiations and related matters are made in Article 4 of the treaty. Contract Law 35 of 2015, the jurisdiction of the council, blah, blah, blah. Basically, all it's saying is who's going to have the right to have the power to do the negotiating. And it's going to be all in the hands of Al-Qadimi. He is now the prime minister. This man runs parliament. This man runs the country. Okay, so look, Halabasi, I don't care what they try to say in this article. These two men are going to work side by side. I have no doubt about it. So I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen from these meetings. They start tomorrow, you guys. So I know a lot of people are feeling anxious because there's a lot of people that have a vibe that this thing is getting ready to pop off, and this meeting is going to tell us a whole lot. So we will soon see. Let's keep your fingers crossed. Let me know what you think. Is this meeting with America that's going to pop off this week, do you think it's going to have any influence on a rate change whatsoever? All right. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Please subscribe. It does help out the channel, and I surely do appreciate it. I'll catch you all later on.